Welcome to Living Well with Ann Beal. Our show is a health show, a lifestyle show, and an empowerment show rolled into one. Get ready to hear some stories of success, healthy living tips, and suggestions to get motivated and live your best life. Now, here is your host, Ann Beal.
Welcome. I'm Ann Beal. Welcome to the show. We have a wonderful person back today. We have Kristin Archer from thehealthrevolution.com, The Radiant Life, and Living Natural magazine, and now from Camp Gladiator as a fitness trainer.
Yes.
Now, we've had Kristin on. We had her for the Thanksgiving show last year, and then we had her on the next week after Thanksgiving as well, talking about her just adventures from having 5 children, a severe autoimmune disorder, her and her daughter, which having her daughter have it got her into the doctor and on a kind of an adventure to find a cure or a solution to the problem for her daughter and her. And I know having your daughter have it really spurred you more. And so now that is overcome, would you say it's overcome?
Oh, definitely.
She also, from there, after losing all the weight and overcoming the autoimmune, she has decided to take on the world to live her dream.
Yeah.
And she's here to talk about it. She has achieved it. She's beginning it after training and training and training. And she did it in a whirlwind way to get ready as a trainer. And her family has really supported her. And I had no idea the amount of work it takes to become a fitness trainer for Camp Gladiator. And the name of it, doesn't the name of it sound intimidating? Camp Gladiator. She was trying to get me to join, and I'm like, I saw that movie, and I don't know. I don't want to be a gladiator. She started laughing. She goes, it's not like that. And so I went. And so she's here to share with it. Welcome to the show, Kristin.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again, Ann. I always love coming on your show. I think maybe a lot of people, you're so well prepared for everything, but I got to tell your listeners that whenever I come on, I live so close that I'm a great fill-in. And so we have just a fun time. I mean, what we share is just totally impromptu and just out of our heart, out of the abundance of our heart. So anyway, I think that's really fun that a way to present the information is not just stuck in a box where we just follow a pattern, but really, I just want your listeners to know that we just go with the flow here.
Well, and Kristin's saying that because, I've wanted her on since she started training for this Camp Gladiator. And when I saw her going through all this, she was sending messages. I thought she was talking about one of her grown sons that he was training to be a fitness trainer for Camp Gladiator. Did he do that as well? Or
no?
Oh God,
just me.
So then the more that they came, the messages and talking, I realized it was her. And I was like, what? That is incredible. And so I've been so excited to have you on, but I haven't had an opening. And I have one of the best martial artists in the world coming on. I think he's from Australia. And so he has this wonderful accent, but you cannot understand him very well. And I was worried about having him on the phone. And so we are going to have him in person and let him share his wonderful motivational just story and what he does. And so to fill in, I asked Kristin if I could put him aside and wait to get him ready where I can see him, and Kristin to come on and talk about Camp Gladiator. So I'm just so glad you did. And she did get here 10 minutes ago because she has a lot going on.
But you know what? I love being your pinch hitter. So anytime you need that, just have me on. And Ann knows I can talk about, this is what I'm passionate about. Anything about health and wellness and living your dream and overcoming obstacles. That is my passion. And so I can talk for hours and hours on end about it. So I think Ann knows that. And we just have a great friendship and a good collaboration together. So anyway, thanks for having me.
Well, in your life, watching this transformation, I watched you since I've met you, and you just keep going. And your family is very supportive. Your youngest is 16.
Yes.
And they're so supportive. And so, I know you were gone a lot during this training.
Oh my goodness.
How long were you gone?
Well, even when I was physically here, I was actually gone. I mean, my kids are like, Mom, are you here? I was like, just pretend like I'm not here, because I had so much to get done in such a short amount of time. And it's not always like that. We are doing a really large local event that we'll talk about later in the show, that if I could jump through all the hoops in time to make it happen, then it would just be a huge blessing for me, and for our local communities, to be able to offer it and bring it closer to home. And so that was my push. And I just thought, you know what, it's almost impossible, but with God, everything is possible. So I'm going to give it 200% and see what happens. And so, yes, it's been a whirlwind for sure. I thought, I think I'm on the crazy train, but it's been so fun. That's my life, though. I like living like that. So, what's life without a little adrenaline rush, right?
Well, so people who didn't hear the Thanksgiving show, how they would like to know just a little bit of how you've gotten where you are.
Okay.
And how, with 5 kids, how in the world have you gotten where you are? Because I know people that even have 2 get so overwhelmed between, taking care of the kids and cleaning the house and doing everything. Did you have a career as well?
Well, okay, so I did before. When I got pregnant with my daughter, I set my career aside and I decided to just focus on family. And quite honestly, it was a really difficult shift for me, because I had been so career driven, or I think my identity, and I think a lot of stay-at-home moms probably deal with this a lot, is my identity was so wrapped up in my career. It became who I was. And so I really had a time of just, I don't want to say depression, because it was such an exciting time when you have a baby and you begin a new chapter and your family starts to grow. But I really had to search, with the Lord and say, okay, who am I? And how am I, a success while I change diapers, kind of a thing, and so I think I just allowed, the Lord to help me develop what my identity is. And I think that we all have an identity crisis, maybe, because we need to recognize that we aren't really what we do. We are who we are, and we can bring our gifts and talents into every situation, whatever hat we put on. And I think that's really what my focus and my desire has been for myself, and then also in just a passion and trying to help other people find that same thing. And I know when I was a young mom, like you said, my youngest is 16 now, my oldest is 22. So I'm in a different chapter, and I'm able now to reach down and help other young moms, that are struggling, because it does feel like you're kind of drowning in diapers and laundry and dirty dishes. And it, as much as we tell ourselves this is fulfilling, this is the best job in the world, and it is, it also can be a little, like, oh, I just don't feel like I had a successful day. I did 3 loads of laundry and that's all I got done, and the house is still a wreck,
And it doesn't help if your husband comes home and goes, what did you do today?
Right.
And he truly may just be curious. What did you do today? Right. But you're like, I did a lot.
A lot. I don't know how to tell you what it was, but it was a lot.
Yeah. And I know for me, like, even just volunteering in the, kindergarten class for my daughter, and the teacher gave me coloring things to do and cutting. And I remember many times thinking, I have 2 masters. What am I doing
right.
here? And I would just say, this is a season. This is a season. This is a season. And it's a wonderful season. And then eventually I'll be back. Right. And so for me, I as well, once they were gone to college, my youngest, so I could give back as well. And it is an exciting time. And I've achieved a lot, but I watch you and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I went to Camp Gladiator and I was still like, oh my goodness, because you trained in 4 weeks,
right,
to get ready to lead this thing and run it.
Right.
And I'm just like, I was laughing. I was like, oh yeah, 4 weeks, 4 weeks. I'm not sure, 4 days. Right. So you have gone from after your youngest got old enough, you had already lost all the weight. Is that right?
Well, so, okay, after my 5th pregnancy, I was pregnant 5 times in 6 years. And every pregnancy I just put on weight. And I am not one of those people that the weight just falls off. I mean, like, I don't have that type of metabolism. I have had to fight really hard to get it off. And it was just a really kind of a down time in my life, was because I had gone from being a pretty slim and active adult and young married couple to then getting pregnant. And I just felt so huge. And I've lost 80 pounds. And, but it has taken years to transform to that. But the funnest part probably is, just, it may take a commitment and some time to lose the weight and to really feel fit. But what starts to happen really quickly when you start just making a commitment to yourself to do that is you start feeling better. And that begins just a snowball of other positive effects in your life. And so that's the part that that I always try to focus on with people when they're trying to make a change, is not necessarily like what the scale says, not necessarily what numbers in the size of your jeans, but really, like, how are you feeling now? Like, because once you start to change how you feel, that's where the biggest transformation begins, is in the mind. And so that would be for me. So after I had my 5, I had gained, 80 pounds, was walking every day, but things just weren't moving. I would count calories, but I was really, really addicted to sugar. And so changing my diet was huge for me. I was having a lot of health issues. Nobody could really put their finger on what was going on with me. And so I basically, my mom was always very health conscious. And, the Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go. When they're old, they won't depart from it. So I was like, okay, there's more to eating healthy than what we want to pretend like we can just eat at McDonald's or Burger King and just every now and then and be okay. But really it has a huge impact on our health and how we feel. I mean, like your energy levels, all of it. And so for me, I just went to the root of it, which I felt like was nutrition, and started making changes. And I have, where I am today is drastically different how I eat than how I ate 15 years ago. But it happened little baby steps along the way. And it was every month or every week just saying, okay, I'm going to change this, and learning. I love to learn about nutrition. I found out that's kind of my passion. So I just eat it up as much as I can, learn new things. That's what I like to do. And so I took that step and then started incorporating my exercise, and then things started changing. But it wasn't until I changed really how I ate that it made a big difference. And then you mentioned about 6 years ago, my daughter was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and it really took the wind out of our sails. It was a kick in the gut, because here we felt like our family was living a lifestyle of health and wellness, and we were so careful and particular about the things we put in our body. And we were the outside, like playing football and catch, and we don't sit around and watch TV. We were the active, family at the park. And so when it happened, it really was a shock. And I don't know that it felt like we were immune to it, but it just was not expected.
No pun intended, immune.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I do think it's interesting that they use that term. I mean, I know it's because of the immunity system, right? Mm-hmm. But I do think that the people who often change their lifestyle immensely, it's often after getting diagnosed with something pretty scary.
Right.
But also just feeling so bad. Mm-hmm. When you feel bad or you feel exhausted, and with this autoimmune, you were actually having pain, right? Were you having pain?
Right. Well, it was something that happened with our immune system after a tiny injury. So like with my daughter, we were training for a 5K, and she just had an injury in her knee, and it's where the immune system goes into overdrive. For us, it's called reflex sympathetic dystrophy, or the other name for it is chronic regional pain syndrome. And there's no cure, quote unquote. The medical society has nothing for you. It's pain management, and it becomes debilitating. And my heart just cries out for the people that don't get diagnosed early. God just completely provided for us. It's a really, really rare condition, and a godsend of a doctor had happened to do continuing education classes for it. Had never seen a case of it ever until he saw us.
Now,
and
what's the doctor's name?
His name's Dr. Hoover. And
I like you to tell people, because he's in Dallas.
He's in Rome. He's actually in Rome, Texas.
He is in Rome, Texas.
Yes.
I can't even believe that. RHOME, guys, if you're looking for him.
Yes. Now, the one, that's not his specialty, but it just was, God just used him. And like all those years ago, he probably never knew why he had taken that continuing education class, thinking maybe it was a waste of time. But it saved our tails for sure, because the biggest problem with that autoimmune condition is it takes usually about 8 months before doctors finally figure out what's going on. And by then there's so much nerve damage that it's considered irreversible.
Because there is actual damage that happens.
Yes.
So what did he do for you? You got on medicine?
No? Actually, he basically just said that, this is what it is. And then I researched online and tried to get in with local hospitals, and it was right around the holidays. It was crazy. Ended up getting in with a specialist in South Carolina. So if anybody knows anyone that's suffering from a pain disorder that they can't figure out, Dr. Robert G. Schwartz in Greenville, South Carolina is who we went to. And
you do have to search around the U.S.
Yes.
And I think that people get so frustrated because they might not have something local. Mm-hmm. And, in the new movie, Miracles from Heaven, I interviewed that family, and they found somebody in Austin and in Boston. That's
Mm-hmm.
funny. I never said it like that. They rhyme. But, and you go when it's your kids, especially.
Yes.
This is what I find. Parents are bad. Adults are bad for themselves.
Right.
But when it comes to their kids, they'll cross continents to find somebody.
Totally.
And so you found somebody in
South Carolina. His name's Robert G. Schwartz. Anyway, he's amazing. He had 20 years of research on the internet that I could find out more information about it before I even went. And so I just didn't think I was going to be able to get in with him because I couldn't get in with anybody locally. And honest to goodness, he said his nurse went and talked to him to see if he knew anybody in Texas that treated, this condition. And so whenever she came back, she said, you know what? He doesn't. But if you can be here on Monday, we will see her every day of the week. Just plan to be here for a week straight. We will make room in our schedule. And it was such a godsend that I almost was like, wait, this is too good to be true. Okay, let me think about it. And then I was just like, okay, God, is this the answer to prayer? And I really believe it is. And I think this situation is what fuels me because I believe that nothing is impossible. I believe that we can change so much. Right. So many of our health conditions go back to lifestyle. And doctors are saying that 80 to 90% of all of our chronic diseases and illnesses are environmental factors. And so that's either toxins in the air, foods that we eat, or the way that we're living. And that's something that we can do something about. And I'm so eager to help be a spark that lights a fire underneath anybody that I can get my hands on to make some lifestyle changes so that you don't have to lose a year at the doctor's office or more. I mean, what if we hadn't gone that path? What if we had just said, okay, there's no help?
Because most people, it takes years to get a diagnosis with autoimmune. Well, with a lot of them, right? And for you, the show you did at Thanksgiving and the next week after Thanksgiving were about removing toxins from your food and removing toxins from your body, which really helped your family immensely.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that you eat fresh fruits and vegetables. Mm-hmm. You try to eat organic. Do you still mill your own flour?
I don't anymore.
You don't anymore.
As much as I used to. I still have my mill and I will grind occasionally. But honestly, we've just gotten most flour out of our diet because because unless it's an ancient grain, it's been genetically modified. And if it doesn't say organic, then it's been sprayed with Roundup. So
well, and it's so fascinating that when they took the germ out of the wheat for bread, they didn't do that a long time ago, so bread didn't spoil. And we had none of these autoimmune digestive problems, none of that. When they took the germ out of the bread and made this squishy bread that has hardly any of the natural protein and germ in it, they took all that out. Then we started having all the digestive problems in the 20s and 30s and 40s. And so if Ezekiel bread has the germ back in it. Yeah. But in your case, you just stay away from flour most of the time.
For the most part. That's or whole grains when we do eat it.
We want to hear basically how you found out that you wanted to be a trainer, a fitness trainer, because you got into that, you said that you just started running around the block or something, that you started small, maybe it was walking. Yeah. And so if you'll tell us the transformation you took, to exercise besides the eating to lose the weight. I know you did it very gradually and you're not a crazy... you don't go extreme, except you've gotten there now, but it was on this transition.
Yes, it's definitely a transition.
Camp Gladiator's kind of extreme. But you got there gently, and that's what's so cool, but you didn't stop. And then once you found an opportunity, you just killed it, man. You didn't just attack it. You attacked it and killed it. So we want to hear that when we get back from break. We're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. And you guys stay right here with Kristin Archer on Living Well.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
Life Solutions Coaching and Counseling in Fort Worth, Texas is a full-service wellness clinic providing individual, group, and family counseling, one-on-one coaching for life and wellness, and naturopathic treatments of medical massage therapy combined with essential oils to ensure you reach your health and wellness goals. Sessions are available in person or by phone. Get started on your new life today. Just call 817-232-1363 or go to LifeSolutionsCoachingandCounseling.com or email them at lifesolutioncc@yahoo.com.
Are you ready for a health, life, and empowerment show in one? Then be sure to listen every week for Living Well with Ann Beal. Ann takes her long-running TV show to the Internet Talk Radio airwaves with guest experts and insight designed to help you live a healthy and successful life. By hearing from the experts and those who have found success, our goal is that you too will be motivated to do the same. Living Well with Ann Beal can be heard every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Sunshine Herbs in Saginaw, Texas, on Main Street, Business 287, has all of your supplement needs and healthy food products. So, my suggestion for you, visit Sunshine Herbs today and let their knowledgeable staff who know all their products and their naturopathic doctor lead you to a life of health and wellness so that you too can live well.
Build your better business. Achieve that goal. Make good on that resolution. The Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed.
You are listening to Living Well with Ann Beal. We'd love to hear from you with comments and questions about the show. Please send us an email to ablivingwell@gmail.com. That's ablivingwell@gmail.com. Now, back to this week's show.
Welcome back. Kristin and I are here, and we are Kristin Archer talking about her transformation from mother of 5.
Yes.
Losing 80 pounds. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of women in that situation. There's men. I mean, I went to Camp Gladiator, and there were a lot of overweight people.
Right.
And they'd been coming for a while, and they were a lot more overweight than I am, and they were doing amazing things. And so I'm
it's very inspirational.
It is. And for you, I know that you started smaller. Mm-hmm. If you weighed 80 pounds and you started exercising, what did you start doing?
Well, I didn't weigh 80 pounds. I weighed 80 pounds overweight. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I don't even want to tell you what my weight was. It was awful.
I won't ask.
But you get literally lost in yourself when you're so overweight. Like I didn't recognize myself anymore. And I just felt horrible. Honestly, I felt like I was like people would, they probably don't. I want to believe that people don't actually judge people that are struggling with their weight the way that I felt like I was being judged. But I just felt like I must look so lazy, but I was working so hard. So I think that all that I've been through gives me so much compassion for people that are on that journey. And so anyway, I'm real slow to judge what somebody else's road looks like because I know I've been on that road myself. So anyway, whenever I got started, I just had this mental battle. Honestly, it was, and I think this is what I shared in the show last time we were talking about it is. That it's really, it's just a commitment to yourself. And for me, what I wanted it to be was so overwhelming, which, I wanted to be killing it and maybe be doing an hour workout, just, knocking it out of the park. But really, even the thought of that some days, just being depressed and I'm so tired and physically exhausted, just carrying the extra weight around. And with 5 little kids, it was just, it was exhausting. So I had to get to the point where I was okay with, and I could feel successful if I just took a walk around the block. And I think that's the part that most people don't, they're like, well, that's not anything. So they don't even start there. So if you can't do the hour-long workout, then you do nothing at all.
Right.
And that's the pitfall that I think a lot of people get in. And so I really got to the point where I was like, no, I'm doing something every day. I'm doing something every day, even if it's little. And so I would, there were days that literally, and this is what I was sharing in this class before, or the talk that we had before, is I would literally have to just talk myself into putting on my shoes. Like, I'm just going to put on my shoes, my running shoes. Okay, I'm just going to go to the mailbox. Okay, I'm just going to walk around the block. And it sounds so silly, but that's where I was. I had to, and once I got around the block, I wanted to keep going. And it's like I knew that I really was going to go past the mailbox. I knew I was going to do more than just put on my shoes, but that's just what I had to tell myself. It was a mental thing of just being willing to take the next step.
Well, and I've used that since you've said, you just told yourself, I'm just going to put my shoes on. Mm-hmm. Okay. I cannot tell you how many clients I've said, okay, you don't feel like you're laying in bed too long. I have this lady right now who lays in bed with her dogs, and she's got a lot of physical pain, right? But she's so upset with herself, and she just can't get motivated. And I said, how about tomorrow? Because she couldn't get into the office. She said, I just don't have energy. And I said, why don't you tomorrow just put your shoes on? And then I'll talk to you after that. Get your shoes on and then call me. Next thing I know, the next day, I was waiting for her to call me. She walks in my office.
See?
And I'm just down the street from her. And she said, well, I just figured, why not? But putting the shoes on makes all the difference.
Isn't that crazy?
Or just saying, I'm just going to get dressed.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get my clothes on. Like, we have our Camp Gladiator clothes on today. Okay, we have our workout clothes on. And I knew she was going to videotape. So I'm like, I'm putting on my Camp Gladiator clothes. And we're both very yoga looking today.
This is the best work clothing ever. So that's one reason why I absolutely love this job. I get to wear yoga pants to work.
And when you're dressed to work out, it feels like, hey, I want to go do something. I'm dressed like this, right?
Yeah.
It's just like if you're dressed to go to work and you're all dressed up and then you end up not having to go. It's like, wow, I need to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, I'm dressed. I need to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
We can be more productive when we're not in our pajamas.
Very much more productive. Very much more productive. I can be productive in my pajamas if I'm trying to be productive and sleep or hang out, not do anything. And so you're right when you say that, because when you're in your pajamas, you're only motivated to
sit around,
cocoon,
snuggle.
Yeah,
it's great. We all should have moments like that. But but when you need to make a change and it's morning and you want to tackle the day, it really is. I've heard other success people talk about that specifically. Like, get dressed for the day, get ready for the day. Then you'll feel like starting the day. And so it is crazy how just little things like that. And I mean that. For somebody that's, completely killing it at the gym every day for 2 hours, that sounds silly to them. But I know that actually there's only about 2% of the population that actually reach the minimum standard for fitness, which is 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week is the minimum. And that's just to maintain and be, help with cholesterol levels and blood pressure and things like that. That's not even about losing weight or really being fit. That's like just the minimum standard.
Well, it's to feel better. You feel so much better, and to be healthy, that's what you need to do. Now, if you have issues that you need to tackle, right? If you have things to overcome, then you need to do more than that. And so that's why it's hard for people, because they hear, well, even just I'm only doing 3 and I'm never going to get the weight off. But I think for you, what was your journey? You just did a little bit every day and starting just a few minutes, and then you worked your way up. Because I know that when I met you, you were running some 5Ks every now and then, but mostly you were just working out every day, doing something.
Right. So that's, I've gotten to where it's my habit. So, and I think that's the thing is if you'll commit to do something every day, then every day you're feeling better. Every day you feel like doing more. And eventually, before you know it, you don't even recognize the person that you used to be. And that's what happened for me. It got to where actually I crave working out, which sounds crazy if you're on the other side of that coin, and it would have sounded crazy to me. Like, I would think, I wish I could crave working out. I'm craving actually just chocolate, or I'm just craving sugar. But actually now my day doesn't feel complete unless and it's part of my day. And so I don't feel like I'm ready to go if I haven't gotten my workout in. And sometimes now I'm having to work out in the evenings and things like that. And it doesn't really make a difference when I do it anymore, although my favorite time is morning, as long as I get it done that day. And what it meant to get it done to me, even still today, being kind of a perfectionist, or maybe just a type A personality, I want to feel like it has to be an hour, but the truth is it doesn't have to be. I mean, we've done studies and studies. We know that if you could do 10 minutes of moderate activity, 3 times a day in separate intervals, you are still doing your body a world of good. You're changing serotonin levels. Antidepressants are the #1 prescribed drug in the United States. And that's for children and adults alike. And, we already have such an easy and free with zero side effects antidepressant, and it's called exercise. The other thing that we need is sunshine. And so we can go outside and do something and already automatically feel better. And quite frankly, the pills are only going to be a vicious cycle where you always have to work on something else. I mean, I just don't feel like they're actually a permanent solution in any way. I think that they may help somebody come out of a dark time, but you've got to make some changes to change those chemical levels in your brain, and exercise is the perfect solution.
Well, and antidepressants can get you motivated enough to actually move and go work out.
Right.
And I think that for you, starting small, like if I went out today and just went around the block here, and then the next day, so if I go around the block for a week, and then the next week I add on a little bit and I add on a little bit. But they do say moving, getting out, exercising, the air, the sun, and being around people are incredible for feeling better. And I know for you, you chose Camp Gladiator. Well, no, maybe it chose you.
Well, that is kind of true, actually. I will say, I know you were asking me how I got started. So I started with walking around the block, started with walking to the mailbox, then around the block. And then I get bored easily. And so I was like, okay, I'll just jog to that telephone pole, and just trying to kind of mix it up just to keep myself, or maybe to finish sooner. Like if I had a certain distance, I could actually finish sooner and be done faster if I just jogged a little bit. And so I actually just started like that. And then I got to the point where I would just say, okay, I'd get to the telephone pole, and miraculously, and much literally to my surprise, I was like, oh, I still have a little bit of energy left in me. I'm not totally winded yet, because our bodies actually build strength and endurance quite quickly. And even before we start to see the physical effects of just losing the weight and toning up, we actually start experiencing the benefits of feeling that strength and that endurance and that energy. And those are incredible things. So that is really how I started. And then I remembered, it's like I would get lost in that run to the telephone pole. And then before I knew it, I just hadn't stopped running. And depending on which side of the coin you're on, that's either a huge victory. Like, can't even imagine that would even happen. But it will happen. If you just take it one baby step at a time, you can get to the point where you're literally running a 5K and you're daydreaming the whole time, not thinking about how you're gasping for air, because you won't be gasping for air anymore. You will be literally just energized by it.
Now, did you wear headphones for music?
I do. I like, so I kind of go back and forth. Like sometimes I like to listen to music while I work out, and I have a workout playlist on my iPhone, and I'll just put headphones in. But I also like to listen to messages. So I love listening to teaching. So that's a lot of times come on, I got 5 kids, so I never have a quiet moment at home to listen to like an audio book or like a teaching. I love to listen to lectures on health and wellness, and my kids don't want me to be blaring that through the house for sure. And so I could just stick my earbuds in, and it's just me time. And it really gets to where I almost feel guilty, because it's such an energizer for me, and it is just my time. So anyway, my goal in life is to help everybody get to that point, because we can only be as effective with the other people in our lives and the other relationships that we have as we can't bring anything to the table that's more than how we feel. And so if you don't feel amazing, then you really maybe don't even realize it, but all the relationships around you are really suffering in a way, in a capacity. So we have to be willing and ready to not see it as selfish to take care of ourselves, but really we're doing our family, we're doing our coworkers, we're doing everyone a service to do that, to be active and energize ourselves.
And I think it's what you said is so important, that no family's happy if you're not happy, and if your kids and your husband, no matter what you give to them, if you don't give back to yourself, eventually you're going to wither down. And you are not going to be fun to be around. Either you're going to be sad and not energized, okay? And somebody who isn't very energetic and it's just blah, right?
Right.
That's not exciting for your family. And someone who is irritable, I'm not saying you're irritable, but let's say that when women especially,
right,
when you gain weight, but men too. I mean, they gain weight, they get high blood pressure because all they're doing is going to work and coming home. And so they're not giving back to their bodies to help them cope with stress. So, women with their hormone issues and when they start gaining weight, They don't like themselves.
Right.
And when you say you look in the mirror and you didn't see yourself and you didn't recognize yourself, so many people go through that.
Right.
And you know you're in there. You know that look
Right.
where you go, that's me. I'm back. That's what you want, right? That's what we're all kind of striving towards to get back there. And so to do that and start moving towards that, your family wants that for you. They just forget that you need that time.
Right.
And they can sabotage it if you let them. I mean, honestly, everyone will take your time if you don't plan it.
Right.
So if you don't actually figure out what you're going to do with your time, other people will. Right. And so you have to do that because you got time. You made that time to get away and go run or
right.
walk.
And I mean, honestly, I had to carve it out because there wasn't any free time in my life. I homeschool 5 kids, and I run my own business on the side with my Young Living essential oils. And so I think, you know, there's a saying that goes around that if you want something done, ask a busy person. And so I think I do that to myself. I'm like, oh, I'll do that. And then I think, how in the world am I going to get that done? Oh, well, I don't know. I'll figure it out because it's something that I love to do. But I think that really the journey, it does begin in the mind. And as you put some effort forth and you start to keep the commitment to yourself, it transforms everything in your life and everything around you. And you know what? I think that you and I have talked about this before, but when we sort of accept aging and how we're feeling as based on the number of years that we've lived, like, oh, I'm just feeling old. And you know what? I can testify. I felt older when I was 25 than I feel now. Now I may have looked a little younger, but I was super, super heavy. But I just feel better now. I forget how old I am sometimes, and I don't ever want to forget where I came from though, because I always want to encourage people to take this matter into your own hands. We have a lot of years left to live. I mean, are we going to be are we on the downhill slope from this age? I mean, I'm 45, going on 46, and I don't want this to be the crest of my best. I want to keep on going and make every year better. And it's a challenge to me.
You know you can. You see these women. I mean, so you're coming up on 50 in like 4 years or whatever. Right. And you see these 50-year-old women that, like, I have this bodybuilder lady from Canada that is going to be on, and they sent me pictures of her, and she's 50 and 4 kids, right? And I got the pictures and I'm like, what? And she doesn't look over the top. I mean, she may have when she was younger, right? Like, she just looks really good. Mm-hmm. And she does keynote speaking places to motivate women. I couldn't believe her body. And I'm like,
at Optima Dermatology and Medical Aesthetics in Macedonia, board-certified nurse practitioner Shelley Plesha will help you achieve your aesthetic goals. Shelley Plesha is a medical aesthetics expert with 18 years of experience in dermatology and aesthetics. She has advanced training and experience with Botox, Dysport, dermal fillers, Kybella, PRP, microneedling, and much more. Shelley offers free consultations and will work with you on a custom treatment plan tailored to your needs. Visit OptimaDermatology.com to learn more and schedule your free consultation.
Oh my goodness. Look, it's possible. And there are so many women out there, you know, and you know, in these 5Ks or 10Ks, I mean, when I ran in the Race for the Cure, I had done such great time, and I'm coming into the finish line. And right near the finish line, this 70-year-old, I know she was in her 70s because she won an award for placing first in her age group. Right, for women.
Awesome.
She was in her 70s. I don't know exactly how far in her 70s. She passes me in a kid's stroller, you know, pushing a kid's stroller with her grandkid in it, right near the finish line. Yeah. And so that's why my kids were like, "How'd you do?" I'm like,
Well, I felt pretty good about it till that happened.
And so, but it's also very motivating.
It is.
And I think watching you, like, you know, sometimes when I'm working out and I get down at times and I start losing my motivation, and then I look around and I see someone like you, and this is what I find. Anytime I start kind of losing my motivation, I look around and I find other people who motivate me. Mm-hmm. And I told you, like, for you, it helps me to have someone else working out with me or pushing me or trying to call me and say, no, you're going.
Right.
And I'll be like, I don't like you. I will like you in a few months, but right now I really don't like you.
Right.
And so it really helps to have that.
Right.
And so for you, though, it sounds like you did it alone.
Well, no, I really didn't. I mean, like, so my kids, you know, since I homeschooled, I can kind of design our day. And homeschool kids need PE too. And so we had a PE PT class, and it involved workout DVDs. And so as I got to feeling better, I just started involving the kids. So I involved the kids in reading all the food labels that we brought in the house. We did a lot of nutrition study. Anytime I'm excited about something, I want everybody else around me to be excited about it. And so I had a forced audience, really.
Right. And they used to work when my kids were younger. Now they just go, I'm really not interested.
I know. They do that now that they're older.
But
and
honestly, yours are much more cooperative.
Well, and I don't have they're awesome and supportive for sure. But this is when they were younger. So I want to say my oldest at the time was maybe 14, on down. And so we would do a lot of workout stuff together as a family. And it was just fun. And they didn't mind it, if it was even a girly workout, they didn't even mind these boys because they were young. They didn't care. We were just jumping around having fun. But they have since moved on, and they're into weight training, and they left me in the dirt, really. Mm-hmm. And so this has been such a fun season for me to connect with Camp Gladiator, because it is at a time when I have had to be by myself and motivate myself and not have an accountability partner. And Camp Gladiator is incredible for that. And that's what I've seen, actually. They did kind of find me, and that's kind of a neat, funny, or God story right there. But whenever I started, I was really evaluating, is this what I really want to do? Because when I do something, I do it, 200%. I got to give my all to it.
Well, and I want to hold on back, so we'll get back from break. I want you to share all about Camp Gladiator. Okay. I want you to share how people can get a hold of you to train with you. Okay. Because you have a lot going on, and so I want to make sure and do that. Right now, how would people reach you?
Okay, so right now I can be reached. My email address is livelongandstrong@outlook.com.
Livelongandstrong@outlook.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Live long and
strong. And on that website, what do you have?
That's just my email address.
That's your email.
So I don't really have a website set up for my fitness stuff. This has all happened so quickly for me. I do have a new Facebook page that I started. It's called Fit Revolution with the number 1 at the end. So I think people could find me on Facebook, Fit Revolution 1. And so that would be one way to connect with me, or just send me your email me, and I'll send you the link.
And that's very motivating. Your Facebook will be very motivating. Her Facebook. Now, she also has thehealthrevolution.com. And you have the same thing on Facebook for your oils, but also you have recipes. Yep. And you have very motivating stuff on there too.
Yeah, actually thehealthrevolution.com. So that's all spelled out ThehealthRevolution.com.
So instead of, so you put oil in the middle. So a revolution is oil-lution.
Right. And I have a tab on there that was resolution your resolution. And we have a lot of natural things on that page about just motivating for fitness and the compound effect. Remember, we talked about little bit adds up. And so things that you can do to kind of just keep setting smart goals. It's all on there. But I'm going to be transforming it, because I wasn't a certified professional trainer at that time.
Now you get to add that to it. So when we get back from break, I want to hear all about what Camp Gladiator is and why people should join it to get in shape. And these are people, if you got fitness goals, because summer is coming.
That's right.
That's why I was hoping to get her on and get a free week before summer, because we all want to get our bodies in what we, so we don't want to be ashamed. We want to be able to enjoy summer without worrying about the way we look. Right. And so it's important to try to get it off, and Camp Gladiator provides that. Yes. So you guys wait, we're going to go to break, come right back here so you can hear all about how to get in shape for the summer.
Follow us on Twitter for more great ideas at Voice America Empowerment.
Life Solutions Coaching and Counseling in Fort Worth, Texas is a full-service wellness clinic providing individual, group, and family counseling, one-on-one coaching for life and wellness, and naturopathic treatments of medical massage therapy combined with essential oils to ensure you reach your health and wellness goals. Sessions are available in person or by phone. Get started on your new life today. Just call 817-232-1363 or go to LifeSolutionsCoachingandCounseling.com or email them at LifeSolutionsCC@yahoo.com.
Sunshine Herbs in Saginaw, Texas, on Main Street, Business 287, has all of your supplement needs and healthy food products. So, my suggestion for you, visit Sunshine Herbs today and let their knowledgeable staff who know all their products and their naturopathic doctor lead you to a life of health and wellness so that you too can live well.
We're all living in the moment, but you never know when life is going to take a unique turn. It doesn't have to be a challenge, but perhaps more of a detour to get where we need to be. On The Sky's the Limit, host Karen Levitt knows that experience, having faced it herself. Learn about her journey from a life-changing event to where she is now. Her guests are amazing people who are living these experiences and overcoming obstacles. Learn from their stories every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time on Voice America Empowerment.
We're on Facebook along with some of the greatest minds of the world, and that includes you. Visit us on Facebook at Voice America Empowerment.
You are listening to Living Well with Ann Beal. We'd love to hear from you with comments and questions about the show. Please send us an email to ablivingwell@gmail.com. That's ablivingwell@gmail.com. Now, back to this week's show.
Hi, I'm Ann Beal. Welcome back to Living Well. Kristin is about to share with us all about Camp Gladiator and how and why it'll get you ready for your swimsuit. Yes. Or your cute shorts and workout clothes. If you're not thinking, a lot of people are like, swimsuit, no way, right?
Right.
And that's when you started letting me know about Camp Gladiator, you were sending all these very tempting, luring statements, trying to hook me in, like, summer's coming. Don't you want to be able to get into your swimsuit or whatever?
Right.
I don't know
whatever
exactly.
we can use to motivate people to get moving. And usually the thought of all the layers coming off and the skin showing is usually pretty motivating.
Motivating or terrifying? I think you were trying to make me think about how uncomfortable I was going to be and how terrifying,
Not on purpose. Not on purpose.
So finally I was just like, oh, okay. I was like, I really don't know, because the name was very intimidating. Mm-hmm. And so for you kept going, no, it's not like that. I totally did not believe you.
I'll tell you a little bit about Camp Gladiator, but first I'm going to tell you how I got started with it, because it's really kind of a neat story. I was actually teaching an essential oil class, and a friend of mine, we got to visiting afterwards, and I said, oh yeah, you weren't at my other class. It was all about resolution, your resolution. And then we got talking about our life goals and some of my goals for this year. We were just having a great conversation afterwards. And I mentioned one of my goals this year was to become a certified personal trainer. And I don't know why that became one of my goals, other than I absolutely love helping people. And I would wrangle all of my friends and neighbors to come over to my house, because we built a gym at our house a few years back. And I always,
just let me just say this. What? You built a gym at your house. Now you have some land.
Yes.
How many? You have 5 acres?
10.
10 acres. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because most people, I had a friend say to me, we have a ski jump in the backyard, and we were practicing, and I was like, what? Like what? What did you just say? And they live up in North Carolina. No, that's not right. I got that wrong. Anyway, somewhere. Connecticut. And I was just like, what? I mean, that says a lot about a person, right?
Right.
And so you just threw that out. I'm just saying, you threw that out.
No, so everybody doesn't just build a gym at their house?
But they can.
They can.
Maybe not build.
Well,
but you can turn a room into, because I know for me, in order to get a workout space, mm-hmm. I kept saying, I'm just not motivated. And so I made a space. Right. I made space. I changed this room. And I made it my workout area.
Yeah.
And so they can do that too.
Well, we had so much, because there's 7 in our family, and everyone has kind of their own thing that they do. And my boys were really getting into weights. So we had dumbbells coming out of our ears. And then we started having big plate weights and racks and squat racks.
Not small weights like this one. Okay, because you have boys. She has 4 boys and 1 girl.
So they're pretty bulky weights, and they launched off far beyond my abilities for sure. But anyway, so we just had all this equipment, and it was taking over all of the corners of our house.
So therefore, build a gym.
Yeah, let's just build a gym. And actually, it is our favorite room. I mean, it's the room in our house that gets used by everybody almost every day. So we love it. It was a great solution for us. But so that kind of was always bringing my neighbors in. I was like, oh, come over and work out with me. Let's start, because I was looking for these accountability partners, right?
Right.
And that is one of the things that when we were talking about when I taught the class, over and over and over, research proves that if you have an accountability partner, you increase your chances of success and longevity and sticking with the program and actually making a lifestyle change, not just a trend for a few weeks to fit into the suit, but literally changing your life, which is what that's really what the goal is. I mean, we may use some ideas like, oh, swimsuit is coming. That's really just to make you think, oh, crud, I really do have to go do it, and want to get you there. But really what we want to get you hooked on taking care of yourself, because that's where lifestyle change is going to happen. And that's where we're going to feel great when we're 70 and we're going to be running that race and passing all these young kids when we're 70 something, pushing a baby stroller at the, 10K. It's because we are going to do something today to feel better and be in that situation tomorrow. And it won't happen overnight. It's definitely a commitment. So,
and I think it's important that people, I had, Curtis Ellis from King Corn, the documentary on, and he was talking about his age group, and he's in his 30s, that they are, he said it's not fun to hear over and over that they are the first generation to die before their parents, that they're probably that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
But as I've been looking around this last year, I'm thinking it's our generation. And because we keep hearing people dying in their 50s and 60s constantly. I'm just like, somebody the other day, 69. Well, our parents are living into their 80s and 90s.
Right.
Okay. And the way it's going, when you hear constantly people dying in their 50s and 60s, I don't think our generation is going to make it there.
Wow.
And so because they're not the way they live, right?
Well, but they can.
They got to stop following the media and following the crowd.
Yes.
And go against it.
Yes.
Go against the crowd.
We got to connect logic again. And I think that's where part of that, when I was diagnosed early on, had all these health problems, and nutrition was nothing that the doctors were willing to look at. And then I did, and I felt better, and all my symptoms went away. And that was 16 years ago. We can't neglect to connect the dots here. There is a connection between what we eat and how we move and how we feel.
And we learned this in kindergarten.
We did. I mean,
you've got to exercise and you've got to eat right.
And if you don't use it, you really are going to lose it. I mean, talk to any chiropractor. They will tell you that the synovial fluid in your joints is going to get gunky and it's going to be achy and you're going to get degenerative disease early onset if you don't move. It's movement that keeps us moving.
So tell us, so Camp Gladiator came along. You met somebody.
At that meeting, this friend hears me say that one of my goals this year is to become a personal trainer. And he says, oh my gosh, are you kidding? Because there's this huge launch that's about to take place with Camp Gladiator. And that's what Camp Gladiator for him has been this major life transformation. He had been trying to get me to come to a workout for 2 years.
See, the name was intimidating.
Well, I was like, I do my own thing. And also there wasn't one close by. So it was going to be a drive for me. And I was like, I'm a runner, this or that. I work out, I do it out at home. I got my gym. But I was getting sporadic, and it was getting more difficult for me to stay regular because I didn't have an accountability partner. I could just do it whenever I felt like it.
Right.
It just you can get really willy-nilly with that when it's like that. So anyway, he said, well, there's this big initiative and it's this push, and he tells me about it, and it was intriguing enough, and it just happened to be they were having a meeting close by. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go check it out. So I went and checked it out, and then I went to the workouts, and I was like, okay, that was really fun. Like, I had a great time. It was they call it 60 minutes of amazing, and I will say it for me, it was amazing. 60 minutes. It was gone. I had a great time. It was a fun time. And then I rolled over the next morning in bed and I was like, oh my gosh, I hurt everywhere. You would have thought that I had never worked out in 6 months, but I had actually just run a 15K not long ago, but I just was working muscles that I don't normally work. And had pushed my body in just different ways. Well, what ended up happening was 2 weeks later, I was having to adjust my belt buckle over. And at this time, I'm still kind of considering, and they're still sending me information about getting started, like coming on and maybe launching a location here and that kind of stuff. And so anyway, I kept going to the workouts because I'm checking it out, and that's part of the intern process is you have to go and check out the product, and that would be just attend workouts. Well, in 3 weeks, I ended up losing 6 pounds. You know how long I've been trying to lose that extra 6 pounds? A long time.
And now it's harder the more you lose.
Now I've lost 10. But I mean, I just it at my age, It is so hard. I mean, I was active and I didn't change anything that I eat. I was working out and burning the calories, haven't changed anything about my diet, but I changed the way I was working out, and it made me break through a plateau that I don't know that I would have ever gotten through just on my own efforts. So needless to say, I fell in love with Camp Gladiator. I fell in love with the community. I fell in love with their workouts because it's always something different and it's fun. And I fell in love with their mission, which is to positively impact the physical fitness and potentially the lives of every person. And so that for me was a big thing, because that's my mission, is with everything that I've done lately and all the chapters that I see that the Lord is writing for the future of my life is really about what kind of an impact can I have on people. And I feel like that's what we're here for. We're here to impact other people for the kingdom, for eternity, and for a better life here and now. And so their mission statement just lined up with my mission statement, and I really fell in love with it. And I said, okay, what do we got to do to make this happen? And so what's going on right now with Camp Gladiator is what I want to tell people about. There's several different things. So one is that I am launching camps locally. So if you happen to live in Wise County, I have a new camp that I'm launching on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and it will be at 5:15 a.m. at Prairie View Elementary School in Rome, and at 6:30 p.m. at Boyd High School, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays. And we're doing a free 2-week preview. So I really want to invite anybody to go to my website, actually go to my email, which is livelongandstrong@outlook.com. And Anne's going to actually post a link on the Living Well site so that you guys can go straight to the event and sign up for it. So you just need to register for it and then come on out for free and get 2 weeks worth of Camp Gladiator workouts and just see if you don't fall in love with it the same way that I did. And if it doesn't just begin to change your life. And then the other thing that we're doing is this is the huge push that they're like, we really want to get some new locations secured so that we can offer this product to more people. And that is because Camp Gladiator, but if you don't know what Camp Gladiator is, we are an outdoor fitness program. So our slogan is take it outside, better together.
I didn't realize that. And so I kept looking. I mean, there's lots of locations around here. Mm-hmm. And so I started looking through all the locations. And then when I was going, okay, it would say out in the parking lot or under the thing. And I was like, oh, they're all outside.
Yeah.
Which in some ways is exciting, right? Especially with spring. Mm-hmm. Now, what's the difference though? Because you said you just changed the way you were working out. And when I went, one of the things I saw is they change, you have a buddy the whole time. Right. And they're so motivating, even the buddies. Now, I was the only new person at the time, but people, they had this high five, keep it up, don't stop. They constantly were doing that. Right. And you were switching off and switching the kind of workout,
yes. So we don't always have a buddy at every week, but I'll say, so what we have found, and this is becoming one of our slogans, I think it's going to be trademarked soon, which is better together, because we know that we actually push ourselves and we do our best together. And so that's the accountability. That's the energy in the group. That's the energy that the trainers need to bring to every workout. And we do. But so we change things up. So each week is something different, but it's national. We have a national fitness program. We've won all kinds of awards for best outdoor fitness, best group fitness, best of Austin, best D magazine, all kinds of awards. So come and check us out for free.
Yes. And do that, because I started on a $10 try, because normally it's more than that. And so you there and you start liking it and you stay. Right. And Kristin, I hate that we have to finish because there's so much to tell. And
can I tell about Total Transformation?
Real quick.
Okay. So we've got 500 trainers coming to DFW, and I want you to just email me at totaltransformation16@gmail.com, totaltransformation16@gmail.com, and we can get you signed up for that. It's going to be this state-of-the-art body fat composition testing that we're doing. It's going to be unlimited access to all of our locations all over the nation. It's going to be one-on-one sessions with a registered dietitian, one-on-one sessions with trainers. It's regularly about $400, and we're doing it for $79 for a full month of Camp Gladiator and all this personal attention and nutrition plan that's designed for you. It's all in the package. It normally would be over $400, and we're going to be offering it in May. May the 13th through the 20th is when that's going to launch. But to get you registered for it, just contact me at that email. And we are looking for people that want to host the events too. And so contact me if you want to be part of it. We're doing all kinds of giveaways and incentives for that.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds really amazing. Truly.
is.
So you guys get a hold of Kristin, go to her email, let her know that you want to join in. And if you're out there and you're not close by, if you're not in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you guys get some DVDs. They have some Camp Gladiator stuff on YouTube. Just go try it out. And thank you so much today for coming, Kristin, and for listening, you guys out there, to Living Well. Take care and have a great week. Next week is Aaron Wolf, the director of a lot of documentaries and movies. He's going to be on to tell about his life. Take care and live well.
Thank you again for joining us. Living Well with Ann Beal airs live every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. We can't wait to see you again next week.
Wayside Furniture wants to help spread the spirit of giving. This Friday through Monday, stop by our After Thanksgiving Giving event, where you can make a donation to one of many charities, and Wayside will match it up to $100. That's right, Wayside will double your contribution to any charity. So hurry in, but only from this Friday through Monday, or until $100,000 is given. Visit wayside-furniture.com for a complete list of charities. While you're here, don't forget to ask about our 0% financing, free delivery on select purchases, and an extra 6.75% off. Plus, special truckload savings on mattresses from Serta, Sealy, and local favorite White Dove. Wayside's giving more so you can too. It's all part of Wayside's After Thanksgiving Giving event, Friday through Monday. Wayside Furniture, 1367 Canton Road in Akron. Better furniture, priced lower.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up with code SWING. All new customers will receive $200 in free bets when you sign up today using code SWING. Plus, 5 lucky customers will win a $100,000 free bet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966. 21 and over. Physically present in Ohio. Eligibility restrictions apply. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. One per customer. $200 issued as $825 free bets. No purchase necessary for sweepstakes.